What's happening, beautiful people? Welcome back to the Thrive After Sports podcast. I'm your host, as always, Taj Deshawn. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a really quick intro, I promise you. This is another weekly meetup from the Thrive After Sports collaborative community. If you want to join the community, click below to join for free. Well, at the time of this recording, the community is free. And for those who join early, the community will always be free. It's been a little while since I've shared a recording, but I had to share this one today. It was one of those small but mighty. There were only 4 or 5 of us at any given time on the meeting today, but some of the things that came out of it, my head is still spinning. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around some of the things we talked about and really just figure out how I can put them into motion. Some great connections were made. Some new members jumped on and we're able to meet some of the members who have been a part of the group and part of the meetups for quite some time. Guys, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm going to keep sharing some of these meetups if I think they're worth putting on the podcast. But if you're a listener of the show and you're a former athlete or a current athlete or someone who supports the athlete community, if you're part of the Thrive After Sports family, you got to be a part of what we're building here inside the Thrive After Sports collaborative. There's so many good things happening. And plus, it gives me an excuse to catch up with people that I don't normally get to see on a regular basis, people I've collaborated with in the past, or people who listen to the show, or people who, we don't get to see face to face or just connect very often. So selfishly, I want you to be in there so that we can keep in touch and see each other more often. And also, I think you'll be able to get a lot out of it. So I'll leave it at that. Links to join are below in the show notes and pretty much on any other episode you'll listen to in recent history. But as you listen to this episode, imagine yourself being in this room and what you could contribute and also what you can take away from the types of conversations that are happening. So don't miss out, folks. The events as of right now are happening on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 Central, noon Eastern time. And you have to be a part of the community in order to join the weekly meetups, because that's where the link is. That's where the calendar is that shows you when they're happening. So join the meetup, guys. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace. Record this for real. This AI is freaking me out, man. So these are super casual meetings. Like I said, this one will probably be brief. Don't ever feel like you have to stay for the entire thing. And also, if you jump on late, it's not like you're disrupting anything. It's not a business meeting. We're just all here hanging out. Kelsey and Annie have both been on a ton of meetings. I keep playing with the times. So I don't even know if I recently changed this time to try it out today, but I think this is going to be the consistent time. And I'll just see if more people continue to show up here. I've done it on Mondays and Fridays and weekends and all kind of stuff, but we'll try this out. And typically how it works is folks will introduce themselves to one another, and then we'll just go around. And if anyone needs support with anything, then we can just kind of take it from there. But Tamir, since you're a special guest, this is your first time here, I'm going to let you introduce yourself first to these lovely ladies, and then we can just take it from there.
You're putting the pressure on him first? What are you doing?
Absolutely.
Definitely putting the pressure on me, but all good there. Tosh, thanks for that. Really excited to join you all this morning. 9 a.m. works pretty great for me on any given day. I was in the office a bit earlier today, so was able to knock out any earlier items I had. So it was a perfect time to join you all. But, nice to see Kelsey and Annie on the call. Great to meet you both. Taj, of course, we were able to speak yesterday, and so really grateful for that connection, that conversation. But my name's Tamir Farrar. I'm a current event operations coordinator for Position Sports, headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona, but I'm here based in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have offices also in LA and a few ancillary partners and colleagues on the East Coast in Charlotte, Chicago, and Miami. So we're all over the place. Not too big of a team. We're about 30 to 40 strong, but we focus on event operations as well as media production. We own and operate our own media, as well as visual graphics, and really the whole nine, as it relates to putting on an event, from the event side to the plug and play of the run of show, and everything from the build up to tear down. So, really excited to be a part of this call this morning and, learning more about the rest of you all. So thank you.
Man, thank you for being here. Annie and Kelsey, I dropped Position Sports, and I should have dropped Tamir, I should have put your LinkedIn profile in there, but
I
For anyone,
can tag it in there. I
okay,
think me and Chelsea have connected. Annie Shirley, I'll share my LinkedIn with you.
okay, cool. Yeah. So for anyone watching the recording, since Tamir is new to the group, go connect with him. Check out all his social media. Check out what he's up to. He's up to some really cool things. I think there are a lot of people in here who, just as I say with everyone, like we need to be having conversations with these folks. So it's hard for me to think off the top of my head, but I'll be sending some more people your way. But okay, Annie, would you like to make your introduction to Tamir?
Sure. Hi, Tamir. I'm Annie from Montreal, Canada. I come from the pharmaceutical industry, left the pharma to work as a coach, mainly with the pharmaceutical young professional to transition into either moving up in their career or transitioning to out of or into pharmaceutical. And I got interested in working with athletes to help them transition from their sports career to their next career. That's why doing my research, I found Thrive After Sport and I connected with the group. So nice meeting you.
Likewise.
Thank you, Annie. Kelsey, by the way, before you share, I saw your after the jersey. Like I saw you've been doing a lot with that. Like it's popping up different places. You're really going forward with that. So that's been great to see. But anyway.
And thanks to you, book finally got into my hands.
Oh, let's go. I'm talking about that on Friday. I'm hosting the Athlete Soul Workshop on Friday, and they're having one of the co-authors on. I think it's Alicia. Yeah, it's Alicia, but
McConnell, maybe Alicia McConnell.
So I'm going to be talking a lot about the book. But congratulations, you're officially a published author.
Thanks. I know it's weird. I keep forgetting to tell people that. They're like, "What's new?" I'm like, "No, nothing." Okay. Intro. Kelsey Weekman. I live in Minnesota, born and raised. I mean, my athletic career was a hockey goalie for the most part, but also, soccer, golf, like a variety of other things. Played D3, and then started working for Target out of college and have been here ever since. So I have a full-time job that I'm trying to manage, and a family and, kiddo, husband, the whole thing. But my passion in the last couple of years has been on this population of former athletes transitioning out, trying to support and, support probably is the best word. I became a certified coach, like a not athletic coach, but rather a life coach. So the work that Taj is doing, I'm doing as well. And leaning in hard, like Taj said, like trying to get more momentum maybe in that space. And then, like I alluded to, co-authored this book in partnership with Athlete Soul, and working to kind of, I don't know what to do with this other than make sure a lot of people have it so that they can learn from the transition as well.
Thank you, Kelsey. On that note, just for not only for you, but for folks watching the recording too, when you talk about what to do with it, of course, selling the book to friends and family, that's great just for them to have. But if we're talking about making some money, I've used my books a lot when I'm speaking to universities, or I'll talk to them, and then basically, they have a separate line items for tangible products or educational products. So there's been some times where I've spoken or even done like virtual speaking gigs for universities for free, but they will buy thousands of dollars worth of books for me to give out to the student athletes or whoever I'm speaking to. So if you have any contacts, like Steve Davis, for example, who Steve, right?
Yeah, he's local as well. And we're going to do a book launch. And we just met last week about, in fact, we shipped the books all together. So they were at his house. So I had to get them from him so that I could sell them to my friends and family. So our idea is do a book launch, start at fairly low scope where it's just friends and family. And then how can we kind of take that content and take that presentation to universities, high schools, just locally around here.
That's right. I'm tripping. I'm asking if you know Steve. I just saw a picture with you and Steve together holding up the book. That's why I saw after the Jersey coaching. Okay. So
Yeah.
sorry, I'm juggling a lot and I don't my baby's not even here yet. I'm already like trying to do too much. So, okay. Well, that's great. I like that. The fact that you two are out there maneuvering and making things happen, that's a beautiful thing. And as always, you guys let me know if there's any way I can support. I haven't been as active with promoting my books and stuff, but I know the business from front to back in terms of like bulk orders from universities and stuff. So,
I like that.
team, not just, corporate, probably Target. Honestly, you could probably make something happen at Target, Kelsey.
Yeah, there's like quite a few rules around not soliciting to internally. So I would kind of have to do it. I don't know how easy that would look.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's worth planting the seed.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Does anybody have anything that they need support with? Bless you, Kelsey. I think those support with business wise. Personally, I had a couple of things I wanted to throw out there today, but the floor is yours if anybody has anything they need.
Not really. I wouldn't say support, but I'd use this time just to promote, I guess. Two big items that I'm working on right now. We for Position Sports, we have the Hall of Fame series, which is a college basketball showcase or series that we're putting on, and it's across the United States. So next Monday or this upcoming Monday, we'll open up with our first event here in Vegas, and then from here we'll move on to Charlotte. Then we'll go to San Antonio, then Toronto, and then we'll close off in Phoenix. So I know, Kelsey, you mentioned you're in Minnesota. Annie, I think you mentioned you're in Montreal. So maybe Toronto's a bit closer, but just wanted to pass that along. And then outside of that, I know, Taj, we touched on the Dream Foundation. I didn't mention it in my introduction, but that's a foundation that supports HBCU students, predominantly Black students, and really it's just a platform where we like to provide resources and networks and allow these students to access professionals such as yourself and connect with them and learn more about what you do and how they can one day work and fill in your shoes. And we have students that aspire to be book writers and are figuring out a pathway after finishing their last semester or last collegiate basketball football season. So you guys all have my LinkedIn information. I like to post often about the Dream Foundation in particular. So if you ever find time, we have a class today. I know it's very short notice, but it'll be at 2 my time, 5 Eastern time. We always welcome professionals to just listen in, or if you find a free window, we'd definitely like to welcome you to speak to students just for a bit and provide them some insight. So just wanted to share that, but that's all.
Very cool, man. I'm glad you decided to jump on today because I've been thinking a lot about our conversation yesterday. I'm like, man, I wish we had more time because I was thinking of stuff after the fact, but we'll be in touch. And I got to get you a copy of my book. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
Yes, sir. I wanted to share this with you guys. Annie, were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm working on something right now that I think is going to help all of us. Adam Schumann, who you guys know, he's been on a lot of these calls. We're trying to, I feel cheesy when I say this, but we're working on something that, think of it as like the Justice League, right? All of us do different things for different people. We all have different superpowers. Like I always say, my superpower is clarity, like helping people or just athletes find clarity. And all of us help the same group or help athletes, but in different ways and have different, nuances to how we do things. So we're trying to come up with this model where basically we're going after universities and organizations and teams as a unit versus just, hey, I have ThriveAfterSports. Can I come do a workshop for your school? Or, folks who talk about NIL or folks who talk about finance, everyone is broken off and trying to pitch their services individually versus if we have this conglomerate, for lack of a better word, we can come in and then plug in whatever the school needs, but we have a super team basically. And using this community with all the folks, not everyone is super active with coming to the meetups, but people are in this group. And I look through that group and I'm like, man, there are some heavy hitters in there, including all of you. So that's something that we're planting the seed right now and just trying to have more conversations with people in universities. And honestly, we're looking to have people on that as part of that, super team, folks who are in student athlete development, folks who are in life skills coordinators and folks like that, because a lot of those people, as we know, are underpaid, and they do it because they love serving athletes. And a lot of those people also have an entrepreneurial spirit. So if they're in a place where they can also be part of something that, takes them out of just serving their school and they can be involved in serving other places, they're more likely to help us get our services in front of, the student athletes, or plug them in with our services. So Adam is like a business genius. And we talk about this pretty often. And my focus is just like I'm great at building the relationships and meeting people in schools. And Adam's more like, we'll get on there. I'll set up a meeting with Adam and he'll kind of talk about more of like the fine print stuff and try to get some stuff in motion. So like my goal is, let's just say, I keep coming back to 5 years. I think we can make it happen a lot sooner. So let's say 3 years from now, you'll just get random messages from me like, hey, Annie, hey, Kelsey, hey, Tamir, we're going over here and they need someone to come in and talk about this, or they need these services provided. Can we tag you in? And here's the contract, and this is how much they're paying. Because I'm trying to stay in my lane. You never hear me talking about NIL, right? Like, never hear me talking about that. You never hear me talking about financial literacy or any of these other things. But there are folks who do that we can plug in. So anyway, I'm getting long-winded on you guys. I'm just so excited about it, and it's nothing set in stone yet, but we're putting it in motion, so it'll be ready to go sooner rather than later.
It's very interesting. Just whatever the need is, and it would help us tailoring, let's say, a presentation or a workshop around, I don't know, networking, how to network in order to figure out what you want to do, and then like networking internally, externally, how to build your brand inside a corporation. So when you've spent so many years in the corporate environment, everything is so obvious, and it would be so nice to be able to share it with the people that we are actually very interested in helping through their transition. Even getting ready to, they're not always in a transition, but the transition will come. So it would be good to be able to discuss these things with young folks that are open-minded about getting ready for the next step before they are even there. Because that's something we've talked about, you and I, and that it's not easy to tell an 18, 20-year-old athlete that is in their peak to start thinking of, well, it's going to end. You need to think about that. They're not in that mindset. So that might help us figure out how to get them to understand that you are going to be a better overall person and athlete if you have not only one identity, if you start preparing for the after. Mm-hmm. It's going to increase their performance, actually. That's been shown in studies. So
yeah, 100%. And then also on that note, the more conversations I have I know I'm only talking about folks in athletic departments, but that's just because those are a lot of my contacts and those are conversations I'm having. But, we're also thinking about professional teams and just different leagues and organizations too. But at one point I had kind of given up on, I found other creative ways to be able to earn a living through doing this work, as we all have. I had given up on trying to, because I don't do workshops, or I can do them, but I had given up on speaking with folks in athletic departments because I'm like, whatever, I'm not trying to deal with these. They have a different way of doing things. We're entrepreneurs, we're moving, we're making things happen. You talking to someone in an athletic department, they'll take 2 weeks to get back to you via email, and that's just the norm for them. It's like, 2 weeks from now everything has changed. So, but I say all that to say, one of the things as I've started having more of these conversations again is that the market is saturated with people trying to help athletes, and everyone is saying the same thing. And that's why all the people in this group who I've hand selected, no one just came off the streets and joined this Thrive After Sports community. I know everyone in here. I only invite people who I think have a unique perspective. Even if we're talking about the same things, there are a lot of people talking about the same things, but I didn't bring them to this group because I don't think they're talking about it in a way that can actually help someone. And so I say all that to say the folks in these departments, they're saying it's saturated. They don't know how to decipher who's who. They get all these people reaching out. Hey, let me talk to your athletes. And they're not bringing any sort of new perspectives, right? It's all the same talking points. And they're looking for experiences and things to go beyond just coming in and doing a workshop. Annie, I think about what you were talking about a couple meetings ago with doing like retreats and hiking, that type of stuff. They're open to those types of things now, or open to, hey, we're not just going to do a workshop, but we'll do like a cohort and meet with your athletes one-on-one to give them personalized support. So it's an interesting time. And sorry, I don't even know where I was going with that. I just got excited and started rambling. I feel like I'm holding you guys hostage right now, talking your ear off. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about today?
I just want to piggyback off of, what we've been discussing right quick. I think that's a great idea. I'm really excited for this game plan that you mentioned as far as just like a 3-year timeline, maybe even sooner, of just what exactly this looks like. And, when I talk to my mentees about, their next steps and, just their growth tactics and stuff, just the importance of going further than just wanting to check off a box. I think that's really common in today's age. People know that they need to do the right thing or should do the right thing. And so with that, they feel that if they just check off a box, then sweet, they can move on to the next thing. But I think, what you're developing and what you're looking to do is much further, much larger than just checking off a box. It's really purposeful, and I think that's important, especially dealing with the youth. As we mentioned, 18, 19, 20 years old, the slightest sentence, the, most simple notions could really go a long way. And so I think I think this group really understands that, opposed to a lot of people who just want to check off a box. And I think that's what will make the whole difference. So I really look forward to that. Hopefully I could be a part of that. So that'd be great.
100%, man. You will be a part of it. No question, especially with all the things you're doing right now. And you just got started. Didn't you say it's only been a few years since you've been in this space, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So that's great. I'm thinking that I know we're all busy people. I don't think anyone else is going to join. I might hang out on here for a second. Normally, if people are going to show up like 30 or 45 minutes late, they'll just give me a heads up. I'll probably just be hanging out on here, like doing some work or something. But unless there's anything else that you guys want to talk about or share or ask about, I'll probably just wrap it up.
Can I give a comment here? Taj, you said something. You said your superpower was clarity. Can I challenge you on that?
Sure. Please do.
I think you have I don't know if it's your number or you do have a superpower for connecting with people and gaining trust. Like I watch your number, like part 1, part 2 episode on your last podcast. Is it the last one?
Oh, Teresa, you're talking about how we did 2 parts but made it 1 episode.
Oh my God. You like the mastery with you handled that conversation where it went in a direction that you were not expecting. And first, just the fact that she felt enough trust in you to open up on personal things like that. But when that moment came, the way you handled the conversation, like as coaches, we tend to gravitate toward coaching because we have a natural ability to connect with people. But you're another league, man. I was shocked that was I became speechless and teary, and I was so impressed with the way you handled that conversation and how you made it, like, finish a conversation and move on to part 2. Like that was really, really well handled. I needed to give you a big shout out for that.
Well, thank you, Annie. I appreciate that. I'm actually, I'm the type of person where I get embarrassed when people sing me happy birthday. So to say, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, is the song over yet? So thank you for that. I receive it. I appreciate that. sometimes I'm like, damn, and like stuff like that is what keeps me going. Cause you know how it is. We put out content and you're like, is anybody even watching it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially on YouTube. My YouTube numbers are terrible. I need to hire someone to help me out with that. People actually listen to my podcast. I always make the joke that maybe I'm ugly or something. People want to listen. They don't want to watch. But that means a lot. I didn't even know you were listening to my podcast. I know you said you listened when we first connected. And Kelsey, you've sent me messages over the years like, hey, this was a great episode. And
this one is in my queue. Like, this is what I'm planning to do this afternoon. So now I'm really excited to listen to it.
Yeah, but thank you. Seriously, that means a lot. And Teresa, she's in the group, she's in the community. So like what she's building, I think she's the type of person, I say this about not everyone, but a lot of people, like everyone on this call, like you need to connect with Teresa. Because as I sit here and look at you three, I'm like, all three of you would benefit from connecting with her in some way, shape, or form because of what she's building, not only for women, but just the business model. Like Tamir, with your role, and when you see what Teresa's doing, I just feel like there's a natural partnership there, some way, shape, or form too. And she's cool, super approachable, super friendly. So, well, I'm flattered. I'm humbled. I don't have anything else to say. What else you guys got?
Well, can I offer another brainstorming opportunity with this Justice League? Because I love the idea. It has been on my mind as well, because it feels so intimidating as just like, who am I to reach out to a university to say, hey, here's what I offer, here's what I can do. And I agree, having some like powerhouses, right? To say, hey, here's the group of individuals we have, here are all of the different things that we can offer. Getting really crystal clear on that, I think, would be huge. So here's the other thing that's been rattling in my brain. And you can tell me this is not aligned to the vision, or you can say, sure, maybe someday. Or you can also say it's a terrible idea.
I doubt it.
So are you familiar with Peloton, where they have digital content? And I mean, they have a lot of content, but I'm thinking about the app specifically. And you can take a meditation class, you can take a strength class, but you can tailor it to, what are you in the mood for? Is it, I need a 5-minute like morning meditation from this instructor, or do I want, is it middle of the night and I need 30 minutes to fall back asleep with another instructor? And that's kind of the idea. There's like some connection point I see between offering that Justice League in some sort of digital way where it can be self-serve. Okay, I need like a pump up from Taj to like kick me off every morning. I need Kelsey to talk me through how to approach the next 5 years of my life. There's different content that I can see that could all come together in some sort of package.
They would all be pre-recorded, right?
Yeah. Or some lives, right?
That's some lives too.
Yeah.
That's really, I like that. I think for sure. And I think you're right, because there are a lot of people trying to sell technology, apps or different platforms to universities, but they don't. It is kind of box checking a little bit, like we were talking about earlier, or it only covers one thing and not the other. It's not this collective group. Yeah, you got my gears turning. There's someone who I recently reconnected with, and she's a part of, her name is Zakayla Hughes. She's a part of Athlete Technology Group. And check them out. They're doing some cool stuff. I think that they're the best I've seen, because I think they've thought of the whole, like they have workshops and kind of different ideas and different topics that they cover, but it's not different people. You know what I mean? It's like one group presenting you with different areas, and not all the areas, a lot of areas, I'll give them that, but it's not all the areas, and it's not necessarily unique or innovative areas, and it's not multiple people like providing content. So I like where your head is at, Kelsey. I think, Yeah, we definitely need like someone to help us out on the technology side. So we had like a tech guru who could be like, hey, we have all this talent in here, so to speak. Like, how do we make this deliverable? That's good.
Yeah, I really enjoy, that idea. I think it's clever, especially as the world, transpires to really being a dominant, tech and AI world. So I think that's definitely a step in the right direction. And, I would even offer, I keep referencing back to this foundation that I oversee, the Dream Foundation, but, feel free to use that group, for lack of better words, is, as guinea pigs. I'm not sure exactly what universities you all have been, eyeing or working towards. I'm pursuing my master's at LSU. I'm really happy to say that, but I on a week to week basis see many, handful of groups and students that come from really small universities, D3. As Kelsey, you mentioned, you played sports at, and these students need just as much help, if not more. And so and a lot of these students come from smaller universities, where I'd welcome an app like that to try out and see what kind of feedback you get back from them. But I know they could definitely utilize a system like that. So I think that's really a powerful step to take. So
That's an amazing thing to already have a target group to test the material with. Sometimes it's you have to scratch your head and try and figure out, but it would be great to use your contacts in your foundation for that.
Mm-hmm. That's such a good idea too, to not always, even me, I'm guilty of this. Like, you want to go after the big fish versus being like, all these other schools and student athletes, they need support too. And it makes me think of, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this guy was talking about a business model that he built for effortless attendance at universities. And I thought the model was really cool. It was basically like, I think a lot of companies are doing this now, but he was one of the innovators, and he was saying that the idea behind it is it's software that's downloaded on the student's phone. So they go in, and when their phone is there, it prevents like people signing in for each other, because no one's going to give you their phone just to go sign into a class. So it was effortless attendance, and the way that the business model was $5 per student. And like, if you think about how quickly that adds up for the company, but also how inexpensive it really is for the universities as well. Like, for them to be able to say, well, we can pay these people, and now you're juggling all these people or contractors you have to pay, versus like, hey, we can get everything and it's just $5 per student. That's a pretty cool business model that I hadn't thought of before. Man, always coming in with, I always leave these meetings with like,
Work. More work.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have anything else on my calendar today, so I could just sit here and stare out the window and be like, I need to carve more like reflection time instead of like meeting after meeting into my calendar. But
Precious.
like, I'm still marinating on that call we had about the documentary. And I had a call with a guy who I know used to work at Shopify, and he was talking about putting together but it didn't really go anywhere. And that's nothing against him. Like, he's moved on from Shopify, and basically his answer was, it's a great idea, but it's going to cost money. Like, you got to have money to get all the athletes or have the camera crew fly around or get everyone in one place. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. So then it comes back to what we've talked about a dozen times on these meetings, is sponsorships. Like, well, if you find the right sponsor, they might want to put some money towards creating this type of documentary, So, yeah. Well, the gears are turning. I'm in reflection mode.
Before you drop, I am curious about this 4:00. Well, I'm Central Time, so you're saying 4:00 call. What is that? If I were to join, is it like me and a couple people, or is this 100 people? What would I expect?
Yeah, so we host each week we host about 50 students from 25 plus different universities, colleges and universities. Alongside what joins them is my team, who's available, and our partners. So we work with various partners, bowl partners, Independence Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, college football playoff championship. These are our bowl games that our students have a chance and opportunity to work with in person at the conclusion of what is a 10-week foundational program. So this is week 7. Today marks week 7 of the 10-week program. And like I said, we host it'll be about 70, 80 people on the calls, what we do each week. We welcome different professionals. So today we've got a couple of people joining us. In each week has its own topic. Last week was like agent and athlete relations. So we had a couple of people join us from different agencies, WMME, Wasserman. I had a guy from Clutch. He was going to join us, but something came up with him last minute. But today we've got somebody joining us from the Tampa Bay Rays who works in DEI, another VP for the Phoenix Suns who works in DEI. And so they'll just talk about networking and career path with these students. And each week has its own topic. So that's pretty much just a summary of what it entails. And it's a really impactful session. It lasts about an hour long. We like to keep it tight at an hour, and we do it each week. But that's a bit of what you can expect. And so feel free if you have some time, if it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just to listen in. I won't put you on the spot. But maybe if you have some time later on the line, and I've extended this offer to Taj too, but we'd love to have you on to speak, if schedule allows. So
you just go in, you register, and you get the link.
Oh yeah, yep. I can share that. Actually, I'll put it in the chat right now. We do it over Zoom, how we are now, and it's at 2 my time, 4 Central, 5 Eastern. So.
And Tamir, you said this is week 7 of 10 today, right?
Yep. Week 7 of 10. So it's 10 virtual calls. And then we have 4 students out in Phoenix right now for the NASCAR championship. That's one of our partners. I've got 2 students coming out to Vegas where I'm at this Saturday. They'll be assisting us with Basketball Hall of Fame College Series for our game next Monday. Students in Charlotte next week. In December we'll be flying. We take care of students' room, board, meals. I'd be surprised if they pull their wallet out. And they have a whole opportunity to work closely with partners. They'll be out in certain markets for 4 to 7 days, depending on the extremity of the event, the demands of the event, and they'll get experience from social media, networking, have time to talk to professionals, you name it. So I was a product of it myself. So it's a great foundation that we've been building on. It was established in 2020 and it's going strong. We just grow each year. So really excited about that.
Man, that's incredible. So, man, I forgot my question. Oh, I was asking so today is week 7. So that means for the next consecutive 3 weeks, these events will still be going on, or the Zoom events?
Yep. For the next 3 weeks. And later on the line, it gets a little tighter. I know the final week 10. So throughout the course, students are paired with mentors, whether these be our partners or people that I work with, specifically my colleagues, and they're working on a project. So say you're going out to NASCAR, which we have students working at right now as we speak. You'll work to put together a presentation that talks about an activation, or maybe this is a T-shirt that you want to sell, or maybe this is a book or something that you want to put together, something tangible that relates to your event. And what's the product? What are we trying to do? We want to promote the game, and we want to promote it to a certain target group. So like I mentioned, a lot of these students are predominantly Black. And we're talking college football, which are normally in markets which may attract a lot of people of color, but sometimes don't. And so often a lot of these projects are geared towards in-game activations or bowl week activations or a T-shirt item or a book that talks about the event and specifically, history as it relates to, the first Black quarterback who won, the Fiesta Bowl or, something. It can be a wide range of things. And so students work to put together that project. And like I said, week 10 of the 10-week program, normally we have those presentations. So, but today, week 7, week 8, and 9, probably be on calls where we invite professionals. Yes.
Really cool. Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say if you want to make a post in the group, just I mean, I don't know how you could summarize all of that into a post, but I'm sure you posted it elsewhere. But if you want to put that in the group and have the link to join, I'm sure a lot of people, not that you have any shortage of people on the calls, but I'm sure some people in here would love to attend that, including me for the next few calls. Even if I don't have a chance to speak, like just to witness what's going on. That sounds really cool.
That'd be great. Great idea. I'll make sure to do that.
Well, I was expecting a call, but it looks like I'm good to go. So I can hang out if you guys got anything else.
Taj, I was just going to ask, so you're the call that you have on Friday with the other author, could you send me that link? I'd love to join that as well. Or is that just Athletes Full?
No, it's one of those. I think you jumped on one of those before, right? It's like
I have, but I think that was only because you shared it. I don't get those.
Same here.
Regularly. Yeah.
Okay.
Same here. I joined because you shared it, and I thought it was one of your meetup actually at that time.
Oh, that's right. I shared it as a meetup.
You did. Yeah,
right.
You did. Put it in the calendar.
I was trying to be efficient. I was like, I don't have time to do a meetup and a workshop. So I just did it on the same. I forgot about that. Okay. So I'll just post that. That's a good idea. I need to do that anyway. If I can find it, that would be great because it is on Friday. But it's the same thing. It's one of those huddles through Athlete Soul. And instead of, because at the beginning, I usually interview a client, like a coaching client that I worked with through Athlete Soul. But instead, because the book is out, Miriam asked me to interview an author, and Alicia McConnell was the first one to raise her. Isn't it Alicia McConnell, right? That's one of the co-authors in there.
Yeah.
I should know this, but I haven't talked to her in like 2 years since we first started putting the book together.
It's McConnell.
Okay. So yeah, basically I'm going to do a quick interview with her. And honestly, like if you're on there, Kelsey, I'll just pass it to you too if you want to talk about your chapter.
Sure.
I mean, before I get into the workshop. So
will I be taking her thunder though? Like, is this intended just to be for her?
She was the person that Miriam chose. Okay. I don't know what went into that selection process. So I'm going to start by interviewing her about her chapter, and which I should probably read because I haven't read it yet. But I can freestyle it, So what did you mean by
your words? What was it about?
Tell me about your motivation for this chapter, but so yeah, I'm gonna interview her and then I'm gonna get into my workshop, which she asked me to speak about like imposter syndrome as when you're transitioning out of your sport and feeling like an imposter. So I got a whole stuff that I'm still working on, but I'm gonna freestyle that too. But yeah, we'll work it out. I'll pass it to you. Or you know what?
Like I said, I don't want to take anybody's thunder. You're welcome to like say that I'm in the book as well, but please don't like make it about me or anything.
I got you. I just didn't want you to jump on there and it's like, why is Taj only asking Alicia? I wanted to give you that heads up.
Okay. So no, I'm good.
Okay. All right, you guys. I'm gonna take a few minutes to get a bite and prep for this next call. Thank you all for being here. I'm gonna keep it. I actually already changed it in the community. I'm going to keep it at this time. If it's a small group like this, I don't really care. This has been great. Just the 4 of us hanging out. So, and if we have more people show up, that's even better too. But thank you guys for coming today.
Thanks for coordinating.
Thanks for inviting us.
Nice to meet you, Tamir.
Nice to meet all of you.
Nice.
All right.
Bye.
See you guys later. Have a good one.